Um,
And one more thing, should I send an invitation for this meeting? I realize that I haven't, except for the first
well,
one.
I don't know that you should. We only have two people, and the first time we had lots. So maybe the next time you can send out an invitation. But for now, I
Not for
think
now,
it's,
but
yeah, we'll
for
just,
for the
yeah,
next meetings
for the
following.
next meeting, just
Okay.
to see if we get some more people. I want to tell Gaye and Meltem that I had a meeting just after our last meeting last week on Monday with Lise Stuntz and Anne. And I was talking about this symposium and kind of a little bit about how we had started the process of breaking up the time. And and Lee said one thing. She said, pick the date now because we need to make sure that George has it on his calendar. And when we start to talk to people about presenting, we need to make sure that they leave that time. Now, I'm expecting another grandson at the end of January. And if
Oh,
that time actually happens, I am not going to want to do the first few Saturdays in February.
very
So
busy.
maybe the 15th or the 22nd would be better. Is that okay?
Is it January or February?
Well, thank you. She is supposed to have the baby at the end of January, like January 27 or something like that. But this is her first child, and also she is 41. So we're keeping our fingers crossed that she actually goes to term. And
Maybe sooner.
and I don't know if it'll be sooner. It could be a week later, but I'm going to be there. I want to be there. And so I don't want to do February 1st or February 8th. So I'm hoping maybe we can do the symposium February 15th or 22nd.
I think 22nd is better because maybe she needs help or something. And yeah, we don't need to hurry for
Yes.
it. Hmm?
Is the 22nd okay then? Should we say the 22nd?
Sure.
Is that okay? I
Gaia
don't
says
know that
okay.
there's a big difference between the 15th and the 22nd. Her parents live in their town, so she would have help, but I just kind of would like to be there for some of the time. Okay, but February 22nd, I will ask George first if that's okay. If that's not okay, I will make it the 15th if 15th is okay. So those two dates I will ask him. But both are okay with everybody here?
Sure. Me,
Yeah,
okay.
if
Okay.
if it is not okay for George, maybe we can postpone it to March because
Okay, I will ask him. I will ask him. So here's the other thing. Thank you, Gaye. Here's the other thing. Anne suggested during the break time, we have a set of slides rotating with pictures of students using the tools and maybe a little caption underneath of what it is showing. Because if they want to go and eat or if they have to use the restroom or something like this, they could, and we could have this on a cycle. This way they can kind of watch it and do something else. So it could be kind of a break time, but a break time with some purpose. We are giving them information and they're just watching it go by. What do you think about that? Does that sound like an okay idea?
Yes, we need to collect a lot of things.
Yes, true. So we would need to collect the,
We can
I don't
try.
know.
How
We
much we
can
will.
we can come up with our own ideas.
Sure.
If it doesn't have a picture of a child, we could
Yeah.
say an example of a lesson used. We could do some just slides that give information about this that
Mhm.
could be useful. So if we can collect pictures with students working, that's good. If we can't, we'll figure other things we can put up there. I was thinking we should advertise the Turkish website. We should advertise the CLE website. We could advertise my website. We could advertise the System Dynamics Society
Maybe.
pre-college
Hmm.
Yeah,
website.
maybe. Yeah,
We could
maybe.
go ahead.
No, I was thinking that maybe not just child, but maybe the teachers candidate. I don't know. That some people who are dealing with system thinking in
Well,
K-12.
actually, we have prepared a presentation, a kind of presentation uh, for the strategy meeting that we organized a couple of years ago. And for each year, I try to select some cornerstone events, not repeating one, but the first time it occurred, I just take them. And but it is all only about Turkey and Systems Thinking Association in Turkey. So a kind of thing, uh, maybe we can ask for each organization to do such a thing, and we can give parallel links to running on this.
Yeah, because I have pictures. I could have pictures of my student, a little snapshot of my student with his model or her model,
Yes.
and a little about what the model was and the age of the student. So I could certainly come up with quite a few of those. So
Or
I
maybe,
think could be a combination.
maybe, uh, of course, in every meeting, I have an idea with a mirror board. Maybe we can put a big mirror board and put everything on it, and people go in and just like a collection or like a museum or like any kind of, they can go out and maybe they can put some comments and maybe ask questions. We can give answers filan that way.
Yes. And webinars, maybe some of webinars and posters also, I think, related
And
to
if we
K-12.
of,
Mhm.
if we use Miro, we can put audio, video, any kind of medium, so they can just. It can be
Well,
interesting.
okay, that sounds like a good idea. What it is a way to use that time productively.
Mhm.
Yes.
So
Correct.
the audience has a chance to look at things that's
Mhm.
interesting. We could break it into categories.
Mhm.
I like the Miro. Well, I'm getting really, really sold on Miro boards. I
Mirror
like the Miro
learners.
board idea. Probably better even than the slideshow because the user has control over what they're looking at. Instead of just watching something go by and maybe they're a high school person, but they're watching all this elementary stuff, which
Mhm.
is probably good for them anyway to see what can be done at elementary. But we could put a lot more information there. And if the Miro board stays intact, which I think it would, they could come back and look at it later to get even more information. So anyway, it's an idea of using that time productively as part of instruction,
Mhm.
passive instruction, that be useful rather than just having come back in a half hour. And then each person, yeah, go ahead, Milton.
Yes, and I suppose maybe if we do this every year regularly, for example, what happened in the last 1 year? Just a collection of the people, what we have done in K-12 in general. I think the webinar that you gave to our math and science teachers is a part of it. Teacher trainings, all these university lessons plus the practices in the classes, or sharing the good examples with the teachers. I don't know, that kind of all the things that related to K-12 can be added in it. SIG webinars, posters as well that we have done related to K-12. I think these
Maybe
are all.
That makes me think, what you made me think of is,
Uh-huh.
we made a Miro board for
Mhm.
our potential work with the United Arab Emirates. And we have a lot of information there that I think would be useful also for
Mhm.
this Miro board.
Sure, sure. And
maybe
also for Taiwan that you are working with, with Emre, you are trying to, from how communicate with the others through the system thinking. And I think that's a good point to collect all these things, either video, photos, or whatever it is
And we
for
could
more
organize it into certain groups so
group.
that it's organized, kind of what
Sure,
we did
sure.
for the United Arab Emirates
Yes,
evolved
definitely.
over time. So there's some there and some
Yeah.
here and some there, but we could definitely organize it in ways that would make it almost like an encyclopedia,
Sure.
well, I
like
was
a
thinking
real reference.
about
Totally.
maybe we can ask Sena to create a labyrinth or a kind of game-like structure to each person just goes through his way according to her interests or where they want to go. Maybe some a kind of gaming. Maybe if it can be done, but it might be very entertaining. Not just list of things, but maybe if he answers something, he can go there and almost there. So
I think this would be possible because some of the content of Miro board can be directed, for example, first asking a question, and then when this person clicks on something, then it takes
yes,
that person to another content, so that we kind of also support or like structure their interaction with the content in Miro board, that they are not lost. I think this is a good
for
idea.
example, I am a teacher. I'm a primary school teacher. I'm interested in story books. I'm interested in only picture books. I'm only interested in about sustainability, for example. It just goes there.
Boy,
And
this is getting quite interesting.
instead of symposium, maybe we can work on this.
I scared.
And maybe even we can put some, I don't know, if emojis or reaction or like reflection things to like, they can click on that. And then this would give a vote for that content as well, so that they might be surprised or they might love it, like something like that.
Wow, that sounds
Feedback.
really interesting. That sounds great. How clever. I think this Miro board could be a huge positive product out of this whole, symposium. Besides the symposium itself, this
And of
could
course,
be a fantastic idea.
and it will be a living thing. So anyone,
Yes,
anytime can go and check and
right.
get information.
She
I think
created
that's a
the
great idea.
design.
Yeah, I think it's really great and very creative. And like we ask teachers to differentiate their instruction. This is a differentiation of professional kind of development, because they can go on a path that is interesting to them, which I think makes it much more useful for the
And they
teacher.
can always go back, zoom
Out.
out,
Yeah.
and see what they are doing,
Yeah.
and
The
what
macro.
kind of a
Yeah.
thing it is. Systems thinking. You are here,
Yeah.
but this is much
Yeah.
bigger picture.
That's cool. I think that's a great idea. And I'm glad that we got the idea based on the slides, but I think the Miro board provides us much more useful and creative interaction with the audience. Yeah, I think
Actually,
that's
it
a
gives
terrific
one more
idea.
dimension
Yes,
because the
yes.
presentation is one dimension.
So
can
Emre,
put-
we had spoken before about the possibility of having some games going on at the same time. Do you want to have that? Or do you want Miro board to be for everybody?
Well, maybe we can actually, when we want to play the games, we definitely need the Miro board, I think. Maybe for some circles in the air exercise, that kind of thing, it might not be necessary. But for other things, we surely need a Miro board, and that Miro board might be this Miro board, and some direction might be that way. If I'm a teacher, I want to play a game. Zing, they go there. If
Okay.
so, we just gather people somewhere in some corner of the Miro board and start playing with them, and anyone can come and watch what's going on. The only thing is, for that Miro board, for that people going there, should be in a separate Zoom
Breakout room?
breakout room, because you give some prompts and what will be done, or for the interaction. Otherwise, it
Okay,
might be-
so maybe we give them some choices at the beginning, and if they choose going to the game, then they have to be there within the first 3 minutes, so
Yes,
they
we
can
just
go to the breakout room.
we write the name of the breakout room, and we play with
Okay,
whoever comes. So
okay, okay. But we can't really expect them to be a participant if they come in too late. They
yes,
should, if they want to do a game, they should come in the first 5 minutes or so.
yes. But
Yeah.
if they come later, then they just watch or
They
listen.
just watch.
Yes.
They just watch. Yeah. Okay. Good. I like that idea a lot. All right. So we're back to regular decisions. We decided to have George for the first half hour. Lee said, don't just give him 20 minutes. Give him at least a half hour. But so we can give him a half an hour, but then do we give people a chance to ask him questions? So that would take up part of another time period. And the tools, we have to do tools, I think, next. And how long do we want tools? If we can do tools in 20 minutes, which I don't know that you can, maybe you could do a behavior over time graph in 20 minutes, but you certainly couldn't help anybody get on Stella online
No,
and
no.
do anything like that. You'd really need at least a half an hour for that. So I don't know about asking George questions. It's kind of too bad, but I don't know. That's why we were going to have him do 20 minutes, but Lee says don't keep him to just 20 minutes. She was talking about a presentation that he made, oh, I don't know, 20 years ago at one of the very first CLE conferences that they had. He did, you can get to systems thinking through many doors. And I thought that could be a very good opening presentation. I don't know how long it was, but he could certainly cut it down somewhat. Anyway, let's worry about George later. He has at least a half an hour. And then we have tools. How long should we have people work with tools?
Well, if we are going to make them the graph, but there are a couple of ways of doing that. If they start from scratch, from an empty, it might take very long time. But if we give the axis and some guidelines on the axis and want them just to draw the line, it might be much shorter and to the point. Actually, we are not trying to improve their graph making skills or making or
Right.
drawing skills. And after that, maybe we can again give the stock flow diagram as empty one or a kind of diagram and expect them to fill them with only the words and compare them with the expected result or answer.
Can you do that in a half an hour? Or do you need an hour?
Well, I was thinking about 20 minutes, but
Oh, well, then half an hour.
very optimistic.
And I was thinking, so, okay. So you would go from a behavior over time graph and a stock flow diagram. For some, you could have a little paragraph story, you know, some paragraph of a story, and then they could be expected to work through that. And then, oh, my mind went off in a different
Well,
direction. I was thinking, what? Go ahead.
We actually have a story about peer bullying because it is quite common, unfortunately, and it is very it
That's
doesn't.
complicated, though.
Yes, but we based our story on a real time or a real event. We can just give 10 events, and for each event, this people, this person, this, that. Actually, the teacher collected the number of bullying incidents. So we only give 10 numbers actually, but within sentences, and expect them to put those numbers on the graph and connect them. It is quite easy. But then when we transfer them to the stock flow diagram, yes, I think George Jason, I'm sure, will not like it and say that it's what was Bison. I forgot the name. It's a kind of dead bison with all the arrows.
Oh, yeah. It's killing the buffalo. Yeah, with the
yes,
arrows.
yes, killing the buffalo.
Right.
Yes, yes. I'm sure he will call this. Yes, I definitely agree with him. But within that time, people might see that incidents is a stock and some approaches, some things increases those in average incident or daily incident, some decreases. And for example, after that, we can find 2 or 3 feedback loops here, because bullying incident increases bullying incidents. Actually, it just there's a positive feedback, and when there is something like this, the teacher gives some punishment or some restrictions, and this first might decrease the incidents. This is another loop, but there is another loop that creates resistance to change or resistance to that, or a custom to use custom, not the customization, but
This is not
insensitivity.
half an hour. what you're talking about is not going to be able to be done in half an hour.
Well,
I don't think so. With primary school teachers, you think?
well, I wasn't expecting everyone to do this, and it's a little bit a rush, but we can just give time 5 minutes for this. Okay.
If you just present it, I think you can do it in half an hour. But I don't think you can do it with any interaction from the audience in half an hour.
Well, maybe. Well, actually, I haven't tried it, so I'm not very.
Well, it's okay. I mean, it's a great idea. And if you decide not to do bullying, you could do something else and still do the process, I think. If we did a stock and flow model, what I would say is we have them create a Stella Online account and actually build a simple linear model and make a graph. That could be another tool. And for the researchers, they could probably, the other thing that we should talk about is AI should help teachers make storybooks. I mean, make a story for a storybook. I would think that if a teacher can't find a good story for their class that they want to use for a certain situation, but they want to use systems thinking, I would think AI could help them build a story for their class if they gave it good prompts.
Maybe we can prepare those prompts and.
Yeah. Well, anyway, yeah, I think preparing some prompts is a good idea just to get some people started. Anyway, that's so we're just going to do half hour for tools.
Let's at least
Let's try it.
try it.
Okay, because if we decided we could do an hour after George, we could give him 15 minutes and do 45 minutes for tools. We could. But the problem is tools are not the main thing we're trying to do here. We're trying to give presentations from teachers and from researchers to help move them forward. So if we eat up too much time, then we just don't have very much time for presentations.
Yes, I agree. And actually, our aim is just make them learn or understand what they are seeing. We are not aiming for them to create a behavior over time graph or causal loop diagram, but just to interpret what they will be seeing. And most of them may be already familiar with the tools. So we do not need to do that implementation part or drawing part. Instead, it can also be some kind of interaction, and we can just maybe create some interfaces and ask them to go to some Stella site and put some numbers, only the numbers, no drawing, and just put.
Well, the other thing I was thinking is if we did show more, what I always did with my students and my teachers that I instructed is I always gave them a handout with the instructions for how to do what I just showed them. If I couldn't do it interactively, I tried to give them actually, even if I did it interactively, I tried to give them a handout because I have been in so many classes or workshops where the person is doing something and they go so fast.
Yes.
I can't follow everything they did. And so then I can't do it later. We could use the Miro board for that. We could actually say there's a handout on the Miro board for this tool that will tell you step by step how to
Okay.
do what I just showed you. So go ahead, Ulkum.
Maybe we can send them a video prior. We can send
Beforehand.
in advance the video explaining iceberg analogy and also tools. 20-minute video, for example. They can watch and come to the symposium.
That's a thought. I don't know how many people would
Yeah.
take the time to actually watch it before they come to see if they even care
Yeah.
about learning about that. That's the problem. We are expecting to get a lot of new people that we hope to become excited from the early things we're showing them, so that they decide, oh, I want to learn how to do this, or I want to learn how to do that.
Maybe
So
those
I don't-
videos might not be, but 20 minutes, but for example, 1.5 minutes, 1 minute, 2 minutes, very short videos, and actually no one is afraid to watch them. Then 20 minutes is a dedication, but you can just press and
Right. You know, Anne Levine made some really clever 5-minute videos that are on the CLE website
Mhm.
that could be appropriate. You could send it with an email, and here are some little 5-minute videos. They might be willing to watch 5 minutes.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and I think we could look at those. She won't do it for free, make more videos, because she needs the extra income. And so she is spending a lot of her time working after she's retired on jobs that pay her extra income. But I'm sure she would be willing to teach any of us or show us the tools that she used, because she's very generous that way. If we wanted to think about that. But, you know, I think that's a lot for the first. That's a lot to try to figure out how to do on top of our very important Miro board, which I think is the most important thing. We could maybe use the ones she already has on the CLE website.
Yes.
And then we could think about adding some things similar later. But I think the Miro board is the most important thing for using it as sort of the resource page for the whole symposium. I
Yes.
could see us using it as a resource. You know, we're 6 minutes after, and I only said I was going to keep you half an hour. So let's take this again next time, and we'll talk about it next week on Monday at 9:30. Is that okay?
Yes. But
Okay.
until that time, we
What
have
do
to
you
put
want us to do?
the presenters, candidates, or any suggestions for the presenters. It might be very good.
Okay. And have we decided that the time is going to start at 7 a.m. Portland time, which means it would be 5 p.m. Izmir time?
Yes, I think
Is
so.
can we decide on that as well? Okay. So we have
Is that the
7
meeting time or the symposium time?
the
Sorry.
symposium time. The
okay.
symposium time.
Okay.
From
7
5 p.m.
a.m.
to 10 p.m. for Turkey.
Yes, it'd be 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. for Turkey, 7 a.m. to 12 noon for Portland.
Portland, and
And
New York.
so in between is very good time.
Yes. Only
Okay.
Benjamin.
So can we decide that that is true, and February 22nd is our first choice for date?
Yes.
Okay.
Makes sense.
All right. And next week is the same time as this time.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.